Hey, my name is Bob McGurty, and I want to thank you for checking out this podcast. And the purpose of this introductory episode is just to talk about the podcast and what we're going to do here. I have been doing life coaching for nearly 7 years now, and this podcast is called Guided Life Plan, and that's what I do is I help people through developing a plan for their life, just looking at different areas. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is by offering podcasts that tell stories. And I'll begin with my story. We'll bring special guests in that'll tell their stories. And each story is meant to be inspirational to help you in your own life, in your own life plan. A little bit about me for those that don't know me, and those of you that do, thanks for being willing to check in here and check this out. I am 61 years old, been married almost 40 years. My wife Twyla is a nurse. We have two sons. Our youngest, Josiah, is an IT guy, and our oldest son, Bobby, passed away at 32 years old, almost 6 years ago. And we just do life together. We served a 30-year career as missionaries with the Assemblies of God, mostly living in Bangladesh and India and doing relief and compassion type work in other countries. Been to almost 75 countries. I have a PhD in leadership studies, and 61 years old, I've got to say that PhD happened at 60. So if you're 55, 56, 57 and say it's too late, I'll challenge you. Um, what else to talk about me? I currently live in Rogersville, Missouri, and welcome, and let's do life together. The purpose of this podcast, again, is really to do life with you by communicating stories. And I'm a storyteller. If you know me, you're laughing because you're wondering why I would say that. If you don't know me, I'm a storyteller. I am a networker. I'm a mentor. And I just believe life is full of stories. When I started my missions career, and you raise money by going to churches and just communicating your heart and your passion, and then people step up and support you, and there were different strategies for how you communicate. And sometimes the thought was, don't tell your story, preach the word, tell your conviction, tell your why. And over the years, I've just realized I'm a storyteller, and that's the best way I can do anything in terms of how I communicate and what I say. And if a pastor says to me, "Hey, we want you to do X or Y," I'm good. I'll do it. But if you say to me, "You communicate whatever is going to work, Bob," I'm going to tell a story. And nowadays, I go to church, and typically I'll say, "My name's Bob McGurty. I'm whatever I'm supposed to be at that moment, and I'm here to tell a couple of stories. I'm going to tell you three stories, and then we're going to close up." And at some point, I'll often make a little joke and say, "If you don't like stories," and I'll turn to the pastor, the leader, or the person who invited me to speak. I say, "I suggest you don't bite me again because I'm a storyteller." Stories are powerful, and they're the way that we can effectively communicate. And if you're a follower of Jesus, you know Jesus was a storyteller. Someone would ask him a direct question, and he'd say, "There was a man out in a field," or "Suppose one of you," or "A certain man had two talents." He'd answer with a story. And I do believe there is a powerful opportunity to communicate. I also think in relationships, when I know your story, it changes everything. I may look at you, and I may know a little bit about you, read your bio, your resume, your CV, and have some assumptions of the kind of person you are or the kind of family you grew up in. But when I sit down and I hear your story, it all changes. Let me jump back to getting into a little more in depth of the purpose of this podcast and what is hoped. It's called Guided Life Plan. And think of what a guide does. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro many, many years ago, and you actually hire a guide. His job's not to climb the mountain for you, but it's to help you get to the top and achieve your goal. That's what a guide does. And so when I think of Guided Life Plan, that's exactly it. And this podcast, if I do it right and it works well for you, it'll be a guide to help you in your life plan. Whatever your dreams are, your passions are, whatever your next thing is, your next goal, vision, accomplishment, desire, bucket list, if you will, this podcast, hopefully, if my dream comes true, if my life plan works, this podcast will help you on the path of your life plan. It will be a guide to get you where you need to go. And one of the ways we get to where we need to go is by hearing about others who have gone before us and who have accomplished the things that we want to accomplish. So that's really it. I don't want to say much more except thanks for taking a few minutes of your day to listen to me. And I'm new at this. This is the first podcast I've ever done. I've been a guest on other podcasts, and I'll learn as I go. I'll make some mistakes. I'll say some things that I maybe wished I hadn't, or say them in the wrong way. But welcome to you, whoever you are, wherever you are. And if you can connect with me, that would be awesome. Love to hear from you. My email is bengali.bob@gmail.com, BENGALI, Bengali like the language, like the tiger, BengaliBob@gmail.com. Take care. Have an awesome day.